Hi, my name is Heather. I'm the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today I wanted to talk about label addiction. Let's think about some labels. Here are some labels that I do not apply to myself, but probably many people have applied to me. I am very much one that believes in multilocality. I don't think spirit inhabits one body for the expression of an entity. However, many people could look at me and label me as a woman, label me as white, label me as this style or that style, label me as short haired, label me as whatever their estimation is of me based on the moment in which they experience me and also the filters they have in their head about what they decide I am based on what I say and do and be and show up as. So there are so many labels. There's the label of the color of your skin. There's the label of the culture you were born in. There's the label of the belief matrix you came into. There's the label of the philosophical views that you ultimately wind up holding. There's the label of the politics or apolitical viewpoint that you choose to hold. There's the label of your style of dress, your the music you like, the food that you choose, all of that. And I can see the other side of that coin. What I'm talking about is the side of the coin called the labels we hold and the belief we have about us being those labels. And then the other side of that coin is the labels we don't hold. So if I say, and I've said this many times throughout my life, I consider myself to be one of the most liberal people I've ever met, because I really do believe in individual freedom, and to such a degree that I do not believe that I need others to be like me. I don't believe that I need all conservatives to become liberal and then we can all sing Kumbaya, my Lord, and have peace on earth. I believe in diversity. I agree with diversity, because I agree with what nature does. Nature is a great teacher to me, great friend. So, not right about that. Just kind of the perspective I have held about myself is like I'm deeply, deeply, deeply liberal. I have no interest in economy at all. I don't care about finances. I don't care about the stock market. I don't care about the economy. I care very much about an individual's freedom, an individual's right. Should the world dictate to you your haircut style? Should the world dictate to you the music you listen to? Should the world dictate to you what you do with your body? Is that the world's choice to make? Your body. Your sexuality. Is that should that be in someone else's hands? How you receive pleasure sexually. Um, so I'm somebody that would identify more in the liberal spectrum of viewpoints on that. But I don't consider myself a liberal fundamentally because I believe in the subatomic unification of all that ever is, was, or will be. Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. The energy that is here is what we have, and it is all subatomically unified in a swimming field of emptiness. Therefore, everything I look at, I believe is me. I believe I am every conservative person as much as I am this weighted liberal identification. So doesn't mean none of this means that I do not struggle with the concept of label addiction. Not at all. I mean, I definitely, to this day, every time I pass a McDonald's, I'm just like, I'm so excited for when your empire collapses because nobody's going to miss you because you feed people diabetes food that's garbage for trash pandas. you know, I can definitely get into some labeling and some judging and some critiquing of what's out there. However, to the degree that I do that, I am in separation from the all that is that I am eternally unified with, and step out of the matrix of what I want to choose and walk in. So the invocation and the invitation for my consciousness that I'm sharing today with yours, if you'd like to marinate on it with me, fun, let's do stuff together. What I can say is, what are your labels? you know, First, it helps to understand what your labels are. What is it you've decided that you are? I always say you're not that. You're not that. You're not the body. And I have a lot of earth teachers, beautiful earth teachers here, people with earth in their astrology, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, because I don't have that going on, with the exception of learning sector. Except for I'm learning it. Don't get it. What? Earth? What? Spirit. So I'm trying to learn about this earth paradigm here where we pretend like a hologram is real and then get all charged and irritated with it. But it's like, I don't understand it. Like, why would we get irritated with a hologram that reflects the negativity of our own thought? Why don't we just have better thoughts? However, the hologram is an experience, and people do believe they're their body, and they do believe they're here, and they do believe this realm is real. You can trust that I've had a ton of conversations around this with my earth teachers. That's definitely something that's happening in my life. And still, you know, I am me because we are we. And so I appreciate that perspective being brought to me. I'm an Ubuntuist in a lot of ways. My spirit guide team calls themselves Ubuntu. So I'm grateful to receive that teaching of the embracing of the physical world so that I might be more full and more robust in my expression. But what I'm offering today is my perspective on the world. You are not your body. You are not your flesh costume. You're not your color. You are not your culture. You're not your political views. You're not your belief matrix. You are not your, these are identifications. These are labels you've given yourself. And in some ways, those labels we give ourselves literally place us in a box, and we can't seem to freely move, freely be in this realm to the degree that we would have the capacity to if we would take ourselves out of the box. It's easier to move around when you're not pinned inside of a box. So my focus is very much with spirit, the spirit of a rock, or content instead of form. What is the content of your offering? Not the form, but what is the content? What do you offer? What are you offering? What are you thinking about? What are you talking about? What are you feeling about? What are you being in the world? Because that's what's causing what you're seeing in the world from my perspective. And so just to get down to the brass tacks of what we're talking about here. What are we talking about, Heather? We are talking about my belief, which is that this realm is a holographic one. If you look at stereoscopic vision, we have stereoscopic vision and investigate that. There are components of stereoscopic vision in which the mind doesn't actually receive 3D imagery. It takes two 2D images and fills in the blank to create a 3D concept. There are old instruments called stereoscopes that can show you this component of the way, one of the ways our eyesight works. I believe stereoscopic vision is one of the things that is indicative of and points to this being a hologram. Another thing that I think points to the world being a hologram is that this holodeck, if you watch Star Trek, this Earth School realm is 99.99999999994% emptiness. So, whether you've read some other article that has a different estimation, that's the most common estimation I've read, but I can tell you it's 99.999%. If we round up, 100% emptiness. Now, how could you have all these visuals to see if everything's comprised of emptiness? Well, a hologram fits perfectly into emptiness. So there's lots of different things that I've studied, from quantum mechanics to our eyesight to just philosophical contemplation of the concept of, like, how is it, like a lot of humans are like, how can God cause war? Man causes war, not God, so that's silly to begin with. But how can God cause tsunamis or hurricanes or fires and all this stuff? And if you think of it as a hologram, then there's no real threat in this realm. So this also matches A Course in Miracles teaching, something I'm studying right now and speaking about because I'm studying it once again for the 25th year or 30th year, whatever it is. I'm studying for so long, who knows? But there's really no threat to a hologram, right? There's no threat, and there's no challenge, like if you rape a hologram, or if you murder a hologram, or if a tsunami kills a hologram, that to me, and if that hologram was created as a result of consciousness, which is a learning tool, that to me says there's nothing bad happening down here at Earth School. There's just holographic reflection of consciousness all the time, all the time. And everything you look at and everything you witness, I would say, is a reflection of your consciousness about the hologram. So the tricky thing about my belief system is it places a lot of responsibility right here in my lap, right here with me. Because if I don't like the world I see, then it's not about getting others to do anything at all. It's a hologram I'm witnessing. It's about me changing my mind, changing my programming, changing the paradigm back of that holographic experience that is showing me the content of my mind. So if I don't like war and the aspect of war, then I need to put a lot of consciousness on two-leggeds using their intellect and intelligence to use the pen, which is much mightier than the sword, to find resolution. We believe we are our labels. I am this. No, I am this, and you should be sensitive to it. I did have this experience, and you should be respectful of it. And I get that. I've had a lot of experiences where I've been really caught up for a lot of my life in the intensity and seeming drama of it, even though I'm not, I like keeping my drama in the theater. I'm trying to have that stuff in my life. But there's this intense processing I've done for a large chunk of my life. Many of my dear close friends can tell you that I've just been like processing, like trying to discern why the world is this way, why there's so much shadow teacher here today. And I really believe and work every day to take 100% responsibility for every darkened corner of the world, because if it weren't in my mind, I wouldn't be witnessing it in the hologram in time, in the time-space delusion paradigm. So think about your labels. That's what I'm doing today, thinking about my labels. What are the ways that I label myself? And then more importantly, all the ways that you don't label yourself, everything that's not on that list. So if I say I'm deeply liberal, conservative, I'm on dating sites, so I notice when they say conservative or moderate, I'm like, that doesn't sound like, bless you, love it that you're that. I love that the world is diverse, but it just sounds like we're not necessarily coming from the same foundational tenets and principles I was raised with. Same thing, like I am deeply spiritual. I'm on the shamanic path. My daily focus is around spirit. When someone says atheist or agnostic, love it that diversity exists. Love it that there's so many ways to be. Sometimes I'm challenged by it and get irritated and judgmental of it, for sure. But as a general rule, I appreciate that there's so many ways to express and be in the world. There's much I don't understand about that choice as a path. And I will often be like, that is not for me. I find the concept of being an atheist or agnostic really boring when it comes to conversation, because you're not going to be talking about anything I'm interested in. and that's not definitively true. I've met a lot of atheists and agnostics that'll talk to me about quantum mechanics and science, which also interests me. But it can help you to see where you've not only placed yourself in a box, but where you've placed the world in a box, where you are just saying like, I'm not this. And if you wouldn't be that, if you would just change your way, my life down here would be easier. And in my experience, there's not any two-leggeds running around going, can you give me a list of ways I could change and be better to make your world happier for you? It's not my experience of how this realm works. So I do have great liberty and freedom to make the changes here. So what I want to do is get my list of fears, my list of that which I think is not me, and embrace it and accept it and praise diversity. Blessed be.